there, Mickey Mankis here without the back door. I found an excellent deal on baby portobello mushrooms, so I'm going to be canning those up today. Come along in the kitchen and join me. These are the mushrooms that I picked up. I bought 2 flats. Normally they're $3 a package or more, and I got them for 99 cents. So as long as they were that good of a deal, it was time to can them up. All right, I'm getting ready to put my jars into the oven. I have it on bake at 225 degrees to warm up my jars real well, but I want to show you a little tip. When I get my canning jars, I cut with a razor blade around the top edge. The reason that I do this is because then when I'm done using my jars and I wash them, I do store mine upside down. But then you just flop the plastic over and it keeps the dust out. And also, as long as I'm going to be canning full cases of the mushrooms, I can store them in there upright and then cover them, and then they won't get as dusty. Also, if by chance I ever had any problem with leakage or something, I've got the plastic on the bottom yet to help protect it. First step is we are going to dump them into the sink and let them soak for a few minutes to get the excess dirt off of them. After I let them soak a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'll let them drain in the colander. Okay, what I'm going to do now with all of the cleaned up mushrooms is I'm going to start trimming off the ends. And if they really look bad, trim the whole thing off. I've got a small bowl here. I'm going to put all my scraps in that can go into the compost pile. But I'm just going to keep cleaning them up. What we're going to do, if you have very small mushrooms, you can leave them whole. But otherwise, what I'm going to do with the whole entire batch, I've got this neat little, okay, I broke the little lever on it, so it doesn't want to stay closed. But this is a vegetable slicer. And all you have to do is drop it in there. Ta-da! You have evenly sliced mushrooms. I love that. So I'm just going to keep doing that. Put another one in. Drop it into my bowl. I got a little carried away and I managed to break my vegetable slicer. What I ended up doing was I was trying to force a larger mushroom in there and I was just mashing it really hard and I broke it. All the mushrooms are sliced up, and what I am doing now is dumping them into my large stock pot. Once I get them in here, I am going to cover them with water, and then I'm going to bring it to a boil for 5 minutes. Being I had 24 8-ounce packages of the mushrooms, I should get 24 8-ounce jars of canned mushrooms, but I'm not going to do them all just in a salt water. I add salt to mine. You don't have to. And you're going to keep the liquid that we are boiling this in to put into the jars. It makes a wonderful mushroom broth. I've got all the mushrooms in the stock pot, and I'm going to start adding the water to it. I'm just putting in warm water right now, and then I'll bring it up to a boil. I'm using a 42-quart stock pot. The next size smaller that I have wasn't going to be quite large enough, so I know this seems a little overkill, but this is what I end up using. And when you put the water in just enough to cover the mushrooms, we're going to boil it for 5 minutes. And the mushrooms will cook down a little bit. The liquid that is left in here is actually making a mushroom broth. It smells divine. It tastes wonderful. And that's what you're going to pour as a liquid into the jars of mushrooms before you go and can them. What I'm going to do with the few of the jars of mushrooms, though, is I'm going to save them and I'm going to put a marinade in them instead of just the mushroom broth liquid, because I like marinated mushrooms. I put a cover on the big stock pot, that way it will heat up a little bit faster. I've kind of pushed down the mushrooms in there already. I don't know if we can get, there we go, what it looks like in there. And at the same time, I've got the flame underneath the pressure canner so that it'll start warming up the water in there. And my jars are in the oven right now warming up. I have a mixture here of a marinade. I like marinated mushrooms. And last year when I did my mushrooms, I made marinated ones, but I didn't make that many. I think I made like 6 jars because I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. Well, I had a lot of marinade left over that actually I called it Italian dressing. Now, it turned out wonderful. So I opened 4 more of these small jars, the 8-ounce jars, and I'm going to warm that up, and I'm going to do approximately 8 jars of the mushrooms with the marinade on them instead of just plain water and salt. The mushrooms have boiled for 5 minutes now, so it is time to pull them out of the cooker. And what I'm going to do to get them out a little bit easier is I'm going to use like a wire mesh sieve, and I'm going to scoop them out, and I'm actually going to put them into the bowl so I can bring them over to the table. This is kind of too heavy for me to carry right now. This is how much the mushrooms cooked down. Do you remember this was a heaping bowl, plus I had another bowl with mushrooms in it? This is how much it cooked down. And oh, that broth smells so good. All right, I'm gonna start filling up the jars with mushrooms that I'm gonna marinate first. And we are gonna be processing these along with the ones that have just the mushroom broth in it. You want to leave a 1-inch head space, which I see I'm going to have to take a few out of that one. For our elevation, I am processing at 10 pounds for 45 minutes for the half-pint jars. All right, I'm going to give the marinade that's heated up a little bit of a stir to get it all mixed up well, and I'll start pouring that in. Remember, we're going to leave a 1-inch head space. These marinated mushrooms, I use them on salads and sandwiches. All right, you gotta make sure you get all the air bubbles out of them. All right, I have all the mushrooms in the jars. I actually had a little bit left over, but I think I'm gonna use those for supper. I add salt to mine, and I'm adding 1/4 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt to each half-pint jar. You do not have to add salt to it. Once I get all the salt in, then I'm going to start adding the mushroom broth. In the Ball Blue Book, it gives you directions on how to can mushrooms. But it also makes a comment, do not can wild mushrooms. The only reason I can think of why they say that is because maybe not everybody knows how to identify edible mushrooms, and you may end up picking poisonous ones, canning them, consuming them, in getting sick. That is the only reason I can see why they say don't do that. Get those air bubbles out. And then we'll wipe down the jar rims. I'm using a soapy paper towel. I'm using the Tatler reusable lids again. Okay, those are ready to go into the canner. I'm able to get 24 of the half pint jars into this canner. I'm going to double stack, so I'll get 12 on the bottom and then 12 on the next layer up. Coffee break. I've got the canner all loaded up. I've got 24 half pint jars in there of the mushrooms. I'm just waiting for it to come up to temperature so I can vent for 10 minutes, and then I will put the weight on. Just a reminder, for our elevation and where I'm located, it's 10 pounds of pressure for 45 minutes is what I will be processing it at. So during this time, I'm going to take my break and then use the opportunity to get all the dishes and everything cleaned up so that I'm ready for when the jars are ready to come out of the canner. The mushrooms are out of the canner, and I will check on them tomorrow morning, short while after I get up. I'm thinking there's at least one that didn't seal. The band was on too loose, and so when I pulled it out, it was like, yeah, I know that one's going in the refrigerator right away. It happens sometimes. But anyway, overall they look pretty good, and I'm gonna let them cool down. It's been a long day doing this project, but that's okay. I only do the mushrooms like in the spring, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And I really hope you have a great day. God bless.